Jin-ah stood in front of the bathroom mirror, her hands trembling as she removed her makeup. Underneath the perfect layers of foundation, mascara, and lipstick was a face she had kept hidden for years. A face she thought wasn't beautiful enough. For as long as she could remember, Jin-ah had relied on makeup to feel confident. But today, something inside her shifted. As the makeup came off, Jin-ah made a promise to herself. No matter what, she was going to show the world her true beauty. No more hiding. Jin-ah had always been known for her beauty. In school, she was the girl everyone admired, the one all the boys stared at, and the one other girls envied. On the outside, Jin-ah seemed to have it all. Perfect features, smooth skin, and the confidence that came with being admired by everyone. But inside, she struggled with a secret that no one knew. Beneath the layers of makeup, she didn't feel beautiful at all. Her natural face was far from what society considered perfect. And for years, she lived in fear of showing it. Born and raised in Seoul, South Korea, Jin-ah came from a family that valued appearance above all else. Her parents, particularly her mother, emphasized the importance of looking beautiful in a world where beauty often meant success. Her mother always told her, "Beauty opens doors for you, Jin-ah. Without it, you'll struggle to get ahead." As a young girl, Jin-ah didn't understand the weight of those words. But as she grew older, she started to see the truth in them. Beauty meant popularity, attention, and respect. Without it, people looked past you, as if you didn't exist. At school, Jin-ah was often praised for her looks. But the attention she received made her uncomfortable. It wasn't just the boys who were infatuated with her. It was the girls too. They admired her, yet at the same time, they envied her. They would gossip behind her back, saying things like, "She's so lucky. I wish I had her skin." Or, "She's perfect. No one could ever look like her." But what they didn't know was that Jin-ah's beauty wasn't entirely natural. Every morning, before she left for school, she would spend hours applying layers of makeup, foundation, concealer, eyeliner, mascara, and lipstick, until she looked like the girl everyone admired. Once she was done, she would feel like a completely different person, someone who was confident enough to face the world. However, this facade came at a cost. Jin-ah became obsessed with maintaining her appearance. She was constantly afraid that if she ever showed her real face, people would stop seeing her as beautiful. It wasn't just about looking good. It was about being accepted, being admired. She started to believe that her worth was defined by how others saw her. One day, everything changed. It was the day of a big school event, a dance competition, and Jin-ah was preparing herself as usual. She was in her room, sitting in front of the mirror, carefully applying her makeup. As she looked at herself in the mirror, something inside her began to crack. She realized how exhausting it was to keep up the appearance, to hide behind the layers of makeup every day. She had grown tired of pretending, of feeling like she had to be someone she wasn't in order to be accepted. After the competition, Jin-ah went home, feeling both victorious and empty. She had won the dance competition, receiving praise and admiration from her classmates, but in her heart, she knew something was missing. She no longer felt the joy she used to when people complimented her. The constant attention had begun to feel like a burden rather than a gift. She couldn't escape the feeling that no one really saw her for who she truly was. That night, after washing off all her makeup, Jin-ah stood in front of the mirror, looking at the face she had hidden for so long. Her skin was imperfect, and there were blemishes here and there. But as she stared at herself, she realized something profound. This was her true self. For the first time in years, she didn't feel ashamed of it. The next day, Jinnah decided to make a change. She woke up early, looked at herself in the mirror, and made a decision. She would go to school without makeup. She was nervous, but she was also excited. For the first time, she felt like she was doing something for herself, not for anyone else. When Jinnah walked into school that morning, the reactions were immediate. Her friends stared at her, wide-eyed, unsure of what to say. Some whispered, some complimented her new, natural look, but others looked at her with confusion. She had always been the girl with perfect makeup, so seeing her without it was shocking. The comments ranged from, "Are you feeling okay?" to, "You look different today." But Jinnah didn't let it affect her. For the first time in her life, she felt free. She walked through the halls with her head held high. No longer hiding behind the layers of makeup. The day passed. And while there were a few awkward moments, Jinnah found that the world didn't stop because she wasn't wearing makeup. She wasn't ignored, nor was she treated any differently. In fact, some people even admired her courage for embracing her true self. That night, her mother asked her about her decision not to wear makeup. Jinnah could see the concern in her eyes. "Why didn't you wear makeup today?" her mother asked. "You know how important it is to look your best." Jinnah looked her mother in the eye, her voice steady. "I know, Mother, but I don't want to hide who I really am anymore. I want to be seen for who I am, not for how I look." Her mother was silent for a long time. Finally she spoke, her voice soft. "I understand, Jinnah. I've always pushed you to be perfect, to be beautiful. But true beauty comes from within. You don't need makeup to prove your worth." Jinnah smiled, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. For the first time, her mother understood her. The next few weeks were a journey of self-discovery for Jinnah. She began to embrace her natural beauty, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. She started to appreciate her uniqueness, her flaws, and her strengths. She realized that true beauty wasn't about being perfect or meeting society's standards. It was about accepting herself for who she truly was. Jinnah's confidence grew as she stopped hiding behind makeup. She learned that beauty wasn't about what others saw. It was about how she saw herself. She no longer needed validation from anyone to feel good about who she was. She had finally discovered her true beauty. And as she stood in front of the mirror one last time, her natural face glowing with a sense of self-love and acceptance, Jinnah smiled. She was ready to face the world, not as a girl with perfect makeup, but as a girl who had learned to embrace her true beauty. This story of Jinnah is one of self-acceptance, courage, and the journey to realizing that true beauty is not defined by external appearances, but by how we view and embrace ourselves. In a world obsessed with perfection, Jinnah's story reminds us that the most beautiful thing we can be is ourselves.